What is good, all? Welcome. Thanks for coming along, bros. And my name is Paul K. Saturday mornings outdoors in a spectacularly gorgeous late summer day morning bite on the Cape Cod Canal. Coming up is the fishing report, and we're going to attempt to catch striped bass, one of the most beautiful areas on the East Coast for fishing. Stay tuned and welcome, folks. That ain't a pretty sight, nothing is. Look at that, especially that lighting. Right now it is between tides and it's heading towards the east. That's where we're going to be going with this today. We're going to be fishing the east tide on the morning bite, and man, that's gorgeous. Getting cooler these mornings now. Temperatures dropping. It ain't no longer 80 degrees at 1 o'clock in the morning. 55 this morning. Get you kind of thinking about bows and shotguns and all that there. And hunting seasons are coming up, and the striper's fall migration. We are working on, I don't know how well you can see that, that's the third quarter. We're approaching the third quarter on the moon. Like I said, we're on the east tide, and temperature was 55 on the way in. Barometric pressure is 30.03, and there's some birds working straight across from me. Well, kind of straight across to the right there. Heard fish hawks on the way in. Wind is pretty calm right now. There's really no wind. It'll probably be out of the south-southwest as it normally is this time of year. Spectacularly beautiful morning on the Cape Cod Canal. There's fish hawks up above. There's birds working right here, those terns. And we'll see what this day brings. And let's go. So if you remember, I gave you the warning about July 16th was the deadline for all you hunter guys, deer hunters, for the doe permits. Well, I got my doe permit. I don't have to worry about no meat this year. Well, does are easier than bucks, that's for sure. So I got my doe permit, but don't fret. If you want a doe permit, if you haven't applied by the July 16th deadline, you're out. But they always have surplus doe permits. They will go on sale. I believe the date when I was reading was September 10th. So after September 10th, drop down to Walmart's or do it online if you got a printer, and you'll be able to get your doe permits. September 10th is when they go on. So just a reminder for all us carnivores that love that venison stuff. And can't wait. It's time right now to get the bow out and start practicing. Start dropping a few vids on that stuff for all the bow hunting guys, and it's starting to look like fall. This rod just got whacked, but it was a very quick kind of a thing, like that, you know. So you know what I think when that happens, you can tell after a while the way that the hits are. When the striper takes it with the circle hooks and it's a definite hit, a strike, even if he might spit it, it goes down, but it stays down for about 3 or 4 seconds. And if he loses it, if it doesn't take purchase and it pops out his mouth, the rod goes back up. But then there's another kind of strike, and it's just like a whack, like that. You know what I think that is? I'm just speculating. It's underwater. I can't really tell, but I bet you it's true. Is that I bet you the fish swim into the line. I bet you that's what it is. A fish swims into the line, because that's not really, when you think about it, when it just goes like that, it's too quick for him to have taken his mouth and spit it. I'm just guessing, but I bet it's probably a school of fish, or maybe one fish, and he just didn't see the line and they hit it and the rod goes down like that. I don't know. Just guessing. I can't see. I don't have the underwater drone yet. I just want to say a quick shout out to a gentleman I haven't seen in a year or two, but he's back on down here fishing and catching them up, and his name's Bob. How you doing, Bob? And I hope you caught some fish this morning. It's a beautiful morning, wasn't it? Get that deer hunting gear out, and we'll be out there hunting shortly, right? Right. That was another Bob, not Lobster Pot Bob, my friend from that runs the lobster pots here on the canal. You know, it's this gets in you so much, and I was kind of thinking there's a very cool saying, one of the best sayings I ever heard about fishing. It's from a book called The Complete Angler. I've mentioned it before on the show a few times, and it's a book written like 1640 or something like that by Sir Isaac Walton. He's supposed to be like the patron saint of fishing among St. Peter, with St. Peter, but it's an amazing book. It's a book about fishing, and it's the Complete Angler, C-O-M-P-L-E-A-T, not E-T-E, angler, and he tells you how to make fly rods and fly line. It names off all the flies and shows you how to fly fish. He does jug fishing. He does every kind of fishing that we do, but back 500 years ago, and it's amazing. But anyway, he says he's kind of spiritual too. But he says I don't envy the richest men, and I don't envy the man that owns all the land. I don't envy the man that has all the girls. I don't even envy the men who are the most popular. The men that I envy are the men that catch more fish than I do. That is so awesome. That's like the real true spirit of fishing. You know? Gotta check that book out. I'm sure it's on ebooks. I have a few copies. It's kind of a really rare book. Not from 1620. It's been reprinted, 15 times. But if you love to read, and that's classic, it's really interesting. Oh, there's a little touch on that rod, or maybe it's just moving. Complete Angler, Sir Isaac Walton. And fish on. Bring the ruckus. All right, what a fight. That's awesome. What we do. Woohoo! Gia, I'd like to give a shout out to Ghostface Killer in the Woo. Like he's watching. That was fun. That was a cool fish. That was a sub that was 28, just barely 28. That was a weird landing. See that big old rock there? Let me tell you something. These fish they swim, even when they're hooked, they swim through, when they have their strength, they swim through this current. Now this current's cranking pretty good now, like butter. It's nothing to them. The current is nothing to them. They just swim up current whenever they want to. They're so powerful. So anyway, it got wrapped in that seaweed clumped up giant rock there. I had a kind of a little problem untanglifying them. But we are on the boards and that adrenaline dump. It's so fun. Never gets old. I had two questions this week I want to address, and one is the first one is someone wanted to know, a visitor from out of state wanted to know, when's the best time to come down? Well, the regular answer is anytime you can get the time to come down here. I do the fishing show every week, and technically you can catch fish here every single week in season. But he wants to know the prime times, I'm sure. So it's the spring and fall migration. Those are the top of the prime times when this thing is basically full of fish and it's all related to water temperature. And the bottom line, the answer is June and September. June, and it's all temperature related. The bait feeds on microscopic critters in the water. The fish feed on the bait. So the little microscopic creatures and the bait themselves can't tolerate water. I think it's probably below 50 degrees. So as the water reaches around 50 degrees, that's when the bait fish start moving northward, and they stay in that. Whoop, there's a little touch on this rod again. They they're forced to move with the temperature. So when the temperature is just about right, you know, they start migrating and they come north. The waters are too cold here in the winter. That's why they don't stay, and that's the migration. They move around from New York to Maine. They stay up here in the summer, and then they get down around the Chesapeake Bay and they stay down there in the winter, and they breed down there in the spring. I personally believe they breed everywhere, wherever they pull up in estuaries, and you know, they have at it. And but the main breeding area has always been Chesapeake Bay. So the bottom line is June, you know, any time in June, and then the water warms up and it turns into a nighttime proposition. Then the water starts to cool down, and then they head back. They head back down south, and that peak time for the fall migration is late, or say September-ish, mid-October. That's it. And then everyone flips to deer hunting. There are holdovers here that all year long. You can go up these estuaries that stripers are there all year. You can, dead of winter, go up in there, but some diehard guys love to do that, but it's not as prolific as they are during the migration. So your answer, sir, is spring migration, June, fall migration, September/October. And the second question is, how long are the leaders you're using for the bait fishing in the canal? And the leaders that I use, it's not hard and fast, but anywhere around 3 to 4 foot leaders. That's what I'm using, and it's 30-pound test for the leader. And I always make the leader material lighter than the main line. So if I'm using, I always use 40-pound Power Pro braid. That's what I'm using here, 40-pound braid. You want to go 10 pounds less on the leader, because when you get a snag, and you will, the leader will break and your money line won't break, the running line, the money running line won't break. And that's the logic of that. And so about 3 to 4 feet on the leaders. And fish on. I hate that. I waited too long. I was caught between a rock and a hard place. If you see when I see the rod go down, if I'm lucky enough to have the rod in my hand, I generally can keep pressure so that the circle, you got to keep pressure once the circle hook takes hold. Somehow or other, the fish can maneuver and possibly get off. But I saw the rod go down. I figured, well, I'll turn the camera on first. It ain't easy. It's not easy being the all-in-one guy here, you know. But geez, I went to turn the camera on, set the camera back up. There's some birds working here, right here, straight out in front, and it just gave way. What in the freaking fat girl's underwear is that? There's a bunch of birds working right here now. The guy set up fishing right here. The birds are working right in front of him. There, you can see. That's those terns too. Let's go. Speaking of Ghostface, I was talking with one of the young kids at Red Top, and he's a devoted chunker like I am. He loves chunking more than anything. We were kidding him about it, because he goes, when I go to nightclubs in Boston, he goes, first thing I ask a girl before, you know, when I want to dance, I say, yo, you chunk? If she says no, I tell her go shit in her hat. It's the funniest kid. We were howling. Really, yo, you chunk? Come on, you know that's funny. I'll shut up now. Fish on. go, boys. That's a sub, I guarantee you that. Let's check them out. Yes, sir. That's a sub. It's like 27. Let's get him back in. All right, so 27. Let's get him in, back in. Woohoo! That was fun. Let the adrenaline wear off. That current's cranking now. It's kind of weird. When he first hit, he came right up to the top. I thought it was a bluefish because he really splashed up top. I didn't catch the sight of it, but I thought the fish jumped. He probably just tail slashed it, but that's what made me think of a blue, which I don't think I've got a bluefish yet this year, but that was fun. Just to give you a visual, that's the leader. So 36 inches. It's 36 inches. Hope you can see that. The swivel and the hook. So it's that large. So 36 or so. It's not right. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact, but at least 36. Hey, what's up, baby? You chunking? And another one. A bigger fish. best one this summer. Look at this thing. Oh yeah. What a beauty. What a beauty. Damn. Oh yeah, let me measure them up. All right, 34 inches. 34, best for me so far this year. They're not big this year. I'm not complaining though. Beautiful striper. Let him get it. Let's get him in. Forget what power feels like. Oh man. You forget how strong these fish are, and that was only 34. I mean, but man, that is unreal. Unreal. That was my biggest fish so far this summer. I'm happy as anything. Superbly gorgeous day today. Perfect temperature, it's like mid-70s. I could probably see that the last quarter of the moon right there, and we got us some stripers. So bait's getting low, and we're gonna go to the spot checks, and we're gonna do a double spot check this week because these two holes that I'm gonna show you go hand in hand. Had a really good day today here. The mighty Mississippi was really good to me. We got 3 fish and 2 swings and a misses, so I can't ask for more than that. God's let me play in his garden, and I am so blessed. And you can do it too. Come on down. And it's a lot of fun. And if you can't make it down yet, you're always welcome to come along with me on the video. So we will see you at the spot check, unless something big develops here. And see you. So Sandwich Road, and this is a jump in right here. See, some of them are easy. Some of them ain't so easy. But they're all along Sandwich Road. And that's how we access without getting killed usually. Usually. Sometimes they die. Check for hobos at the hobo crossing. And this one's wild, this bushwhack. It's not, none of them are bushwhacks. They're not, you're not cutting through brush. They're all got paths, but this one's just like a ski slope. It's pretty cool. And you just wind your way down, and here's the area I want to be. Going down's easy. Coming up's the challenge. But when you use these, because they're dotted all along, just when you enter the access road on the canal from these little bushwhacks, mark it, like blaze it like you're in the woods. You know, put a stone there or something, or a stick along the edge so you'll know where you came in. Because there's a lot of these, and a lot of them look alike, and you can remember the pole number, that's all. But see, we have the access road, and voila, here we are at the access road. Looks like he's got himself the prime fishing spot. Oh. That's good luck, I think. All right, we are at the first spot check. Look at this boat. I know I can. He's barely got enough. It's probably cost him $100 bucks a half hour to do that. Anyway, we're at pole 169, between pole 169, which is down here, the next pole, and 170. And this is a really good spot. This is called Striper Hole, and what it is you can see it's relatively shallow here. You wade out there on the lesser tides. I'm not recommending it, it's a disclaimer, but you're on your own. But there's a steep drop off and it goes straight down. And this is a well-known hole, very popular hole, and it's the stripers and blues and every other kind of fish push the bait up against the drop off there, and it's called Striper Hole. And there's thousands of holes all along through here, but these ones that I'm showing you are the predominant holes on the map that you can get at any of the bait shops or at the rec center. And there's a reason why they're on there, because they're notorious for being killer fishing spots over the years and decades and so forth. So this is what I'm showing you as the ones on the map. There's thousands of other secret holes, but you find those on your own, and that's what a lot of fishermen do. These are absolutely sufficient and worthwhile to check out, the holes that I'm showing you. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing it, but this is Striper Hole, and 170 and 169. You notice the feature along in here, the tide's going out right now, but it's leaving all this exposed, and there's certain areas that it really goes out, these points, and of course you can go out and fish on them. But another cool thing that we do, under almost every one of these rocks are the Asian crab and the green crab. They're little crabs that big. Got to be quick, they're fast, but might take you probably, I don't know, half an hour, and you can get 15 or 30 of them, and it's tautog fishing. And all along through here, which leads me up to the segue of the next hole. But under every one of these rocks, just flip them over. As soon as you lift it up, you'll see the little Asian crabs or the green crabs, and that's for tautog fish. And our second hole of the day, it's 175 and 176. That's 175, that's pole 176. And this special hole, it's called tautog hole or blackfish hole, and this has been around, extremely popular. And it's the same setup as Striper Hole, where it gets shallow here, but then it just drops off. But the difference is, here it's all boulders down there. It's serious boulders, which blackfish and of course striped bass love. Not just saying you'll only catch blackfish here, but this is where you catch blackfish, as opposed to other areas that don't have the feature of so much boulders. But so that's why I had mentioned the green crabs. They're Asian crabs, the majority of them. You flip over these rocks, you fill up a bucket, and you learn the rigs of those. Maybe sometime I'll do a video on those, the tautog here. But some of the best eaten fish in the ocean, besides black sea bass, are the tautog, and that's what this is. This is Blackfish Tautog Hole, pole 175 and 176. And oh yeah, just to give you bearings, that's the herring run on the mainland side. It's an extremely popular spot. It's probably the most well-known spot on one of the most well-known spot on the Cape. And right where my finger's pointing, that's another radar tower. There's radar towers all along through here for navigational observations. And but just to give you an eyeball where we're at, you can just use the poles. So that'll wrap up this edition, man. And once again, thank you each and every one of you for tuning in each week. If you can't make it down here, just come on along. Whether I'm fishing or hunting, I'm glad to have you along. And it was a really good fun week this week. I hope I made up for last week buffoonery where I kind of lost the master video. But anyway, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it, you guys. And don't forget, say your prayers, man. Jesus is waiting to hear from you, and I mean that. And so we'll see you next week, and have a good week. Hey, you chunk.